All right. So we're talking about your family, and you've been talking about your dad, and was wondering if you could tell us what their marriage was like, what their relationship was like.
Well, I appeared late in their relationship. They were 40 and 39. My father was a year younger than my mother, which bothered him terribly. He thought it unmanly not to be older than his wife. And, you know, it was of not much interest to me as a child. It was just what it was.
Mm-hmm.
My father went to work and my mother stayed home and was always available to me. And when I turned 13, my mother started talking to me like an adult and gave me the lowdown on everybody in the family, and I just loved it. And I heard about all my aunts and uncles and their interests and problems and divorces and strange quirks and so forth. And that was the year I was sent away to school, which is probably too bad, because I was just beginning to get, what I got from school was other things. But from my mother, I was beginning to get sort of the real truth, what adults know about people, learning how to judge in a way that, probably in just the way that she did. And my father when I was a little girl, when I was at camp, I was a rider, and I won the blue ribbon for the best horsemanship in camp, and I had a little horse named Little Larry. And at the end of the summer, my father bought that little horse for me, and I must have been 11 or 12. And we rode horseback together on weekends. And I just loved that, and he probably did too. But once, and I believe I was younger than 11 or 12, maybe 8, we were riding, and he told me that we were lost. And I said, well, will we find our way back home? And he said, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we're just lost. And it wasn't true. He was teasing me. And I was very upset and very angry. Why would he tell me something to frighten me so? And he believed in teasing. He used teasing with the boys too, that it would toughen you up and teach you not to trust people.
Kind of like his father did to him with the VPI thing.
Oh dear. And it, in a way, taught me not to trust him, of course. And I still remember that with some, I was going to say some pain, and that's probably too strong. And I had no sense of his office life. I knew his secretaries who were very deferential to him and to my mother, and I thought I was mildly interested in them. And I played golf with my father from the time we went to Ball Peak on, and I did enjoy that. And he was very affirmative with me, helpful about the trials.
So you were a junior golfer. You were in your teens.
Yeah.
Golfing.
Well, that's putting it too high a gloss on it.
Okay.
But it was a pleasure for me.
Uh-huh.
And I liked his men friends at Ball Peak because they were, I suppose, flirtatious and silly with me.
Mm-hmm.
And but my mother was my rock, the tree in the storm.
Uh-huh.
Ask me another.
What were her passions? What was she most interested in?
She was interested in books, in reading. She was interested in beauty, in fine things, in beautiful china, beautiful clothes. She had made her own clothes for years, even made her own hats. Didn't like doing it. Greatly preferred to have the cash and the barrel head and go to the store.
Uh-huh.
But always enjoyed and spent, I think, a lot of energy on setting up a household and making it beautiful. And her households were beautiful. They were just of their kind. They were perfectly wonderful. And my father was always pleased and proud of what she did.
Did they entertain?
Oh, they entertained quite a lot, but they never got into the carbide rat race of entertaining company people. They lived on the other side of, I was going to say Chicago, they lived on the other side of New York for most of the carbide people who lived north of the city in Larchmont and Westchester and so forth, and Connecticut. And they just went to weddings and funerals and kept it at that. My father was